everybody, and welcome to the Buckeye Bro Show. This is a show where we talk to you about Buckeye football, Buckeye basketball, and Buckeye things, and other sports and teams as we see fit. I am your royal host, Alex Bryan, a.k.a. King Buckeye, and I'm here as... Oh,
man.
He's going to be here, he says.
He says he just got home.
No more than 15 minutes late, he says. So whenever he's in, I will remove his picture of his old belt, and we'll bring him on in.
But I'm telling you, you've got to get a different picture of him. You want to put an embarrassing picture of me every single time. we got to find something.
Well, if you can find me a good one, I'll replace it for you. How's that sound?
Good, because you use that same picture every.
It is not my fault that you got some Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite looking pictures on your Facebook. All right. That
worst part is I can't even go back and delete those because I know you got it saved, so it won't matter.
Yeah, I do. Blackmail forever.
Right.
But we will be joined by one Travis Napper soon. But we are here with our other Buckeye bro. He is the guy with the sports supply, Rye the sports guy, Ryan Hill. What's up, Ryan?
We're back. We had a little off week last week with the bye week with the Buckeyes, so now we're back. They're back, and got some game to talk about. Got some game to look forward to. I hate those early bye weeks. I understand that too.
Especially what I saw Saturday. I didn't like that bye week.
Yeah, it's just an untimely bye week. I'm not looking forward to the next one either.
Terrible. Yeah, your boy didn't feel good last week. Ryan, or which one of you couldn't make it last week? Travis couldn't make it last week. So I said, you know what, take the week off. It's, bye week stuff anyway. All we'll have to talk about is the Marshall game coming up. But now we can just talk about the Marshall game that happened. And then we can talk about the Sparty game coming up. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Tonight we're going to talk about both of those games, recapping the Marshall game and previewing the Spartan game. We'll have the Ryan rundown per usual, and then we will talk about what did we learn in college football this week. It's kind of a mix between the last 2 weeks since we weren't here last week, but it's mostly this recent week. So we got our list of 5 things that we learned from college football in the last couple weeks. I'll put the dead or alive list up. I'll show you what it looked like after week 3 and what it looks like now. Then we'll have Hot Wheels hot takes per usual, and then we'll talk about surprises and disappointments of the college football season so far. Some are pretty obvious, obviously, especially the disappointment. Then pretty sure I can name 2 teams that I believed in right off the rip that are very vastly disappointing so far.
Oh yeah.
But we'll get into that. And then we'll talk about Justin Fields 3-0 and what that means for his future, what that means for the Steelers, and because it's worth talking about.
He's got a couple things to celebrate 3-0 about.
He definitely does. So we'll talk about those. And, of course, we'll do rapid-fire picks. We'll show you where we're at after the last couple weeks. Who's in the lead? Who's not? Who gets to harness the belt? Spoiler alert, it was a rough couple weeks for you Buckeye Bros.
Oh, yeah, it's been... I know for sure for me.
NFL has been drunk the last couple weeks, so... Yeah. A little bit rough there. But then we'll send you on your way with a Wolverine whip. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Let's roll. All right. So, third time we played Marshall ever last weekend. And it was actually the first time I think that they ever had a lead on us.
Yes, it was.
So that sucks. I don't know if it was like the first time we've ever scored a touchdown on them. I don't pay that much attention. But, it was... It was a very not so pretty game in the first half, was it? Not what we were expecting to see out of jump, especially in that first quarter. Second quarter, got a little.
Second quarter
got it going on at least one side of the ball. A touchdown was given that really shouldn't have been given, but that's neither here nor there. And Ohio State would be tied 7-7 after the first quarter, and then take a 28-14 halftime lead. And of course, all the trolls were out there being like, what's going on in Columbus? Oh no. And then Ohio State turned it on in the second half. On both sides of the ball. Finally, the defense woke up a little bit. Didn't look the greatest, but I'll take a shutout in the second half after what we saw in the first half. The run game, once again, stellar in this one. 280 total yards for Ohio State on the ground, 289 through the air. Will Howard would throw his first interception. It's not like it was an ugly interception either. It was like a 50-50 ball that just went the wrong 50, I would say. But other than that, Will Howard looked very good. Ohio State amassed 569 total yards of offense. Just some stats here. Will Howard throws for 275 yards on 16 of 20 passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick, like I said. He was only sacked one time. Devin Brown got into the game. Very lackluster, 2 for 6 for 14. Rushing-wise, Quinshon Judkins, 14 attempts, 175 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. And Travion Henderson, 6 attempts for 78 yards. Oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind. 173 yards for Quinshon, 76 for Travion, because it counts it weird on this website. It shows the yards lost as well. So a couple touchdowns for each of them. They both averaged 12 yards basically per rush, so that's pretty sweet. And then, of course, the leading receiver was not Jeremiah Smith this week. It was Emeka Egbuka, 5 receptions, 117 yards, and a tutty. But Jeremiah Smith wasn't far behind, 3 receptions, 70 yards, and 1 tutty for him on one big 53-yard pass, too. So yep. he was virtually non-existent until that point. Really impressive on Marshall's side. Their quarterback, 16-21, Stone Earl, 132 yards and 1 touchdown. He was doing really well all game. He actually ran for like 23 yards, 37 if you don't include the lost yards, probably via sacks, I'm guessing, or the 1 sack. Cole Pennington, one of their backup quarterbacks, that made me feel old. Chad Pennington's son. Chad Pennington played for Marshall back in like the 90s with Randy Moss. God, I'm like, man, where did the time go? But their leading receiver was Elijah Metcalf, 8 receptions, 68 yards, 1 touchdown. So, Ryan, give me your good, bad, and ugly, sir.
Ugly was what we tend to start with, so I'll go there first. Obviously, I think I'm going to throw the kicker in that category.
Boy.
Kicking it out of bounds 3 straight times in a row.
What in the actual fuck was that?
Right. Like they talked about on the broadcast, we used to use that strategy at one point during Urban Meyer when the special teams was atrocious on those kickoffs. But, yeah, I think he said something about he tweaked something on the first kickoff and just fell off from there and led to 3 straight out of bounds.
Is that what it is? Because I saw him talking to Ryan Day, and Ryan Day's doing this, and you could read his lips saying, "There's no wind. What's going on with you?"
Right.
Like, and that funny thing, that kicker that came in and to replace him ended up losing his black stripe because of that game. So,
hey. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad when you start cheering when a kick actually lands inbounds.
Boy, that was rough.
So that was rough. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the ugly category too. The slow start. I know we didn't have it against Western Michigan there, but we did against Akron, and now we did again here. It was just kind of a slow start. I know the offense got it going in the second quarter, but everything kind of felt weird. Maybe it was just being off the bye week or whatnot, but letting Marshall go straight down the field on the defensive side of the ball against us there. So that wasn't pretty to get the game started. And then the offense, not really mustering anything up in that first quarter, but then they quickly turned it on second quarter and beyond.
Boy,
so
they sure did.
Right.
Yeah.
That they did. They leaned on that run game and got that going, but yeah, you got to get that cleaned up. You can survive these things against the Akrons and the Marshalls of the world, but when you go to Oregon and you play Penn State and maybe even team up north, just because you never know what you're going to get. Even Nebraska.
Unless we're in a one-score game.
Right. Exactly. You got to figure out how to get it going from the jump like you did against Western Michigan. That is definitely a key. You cannot be sluggish out the gate all the time and expect good things to happen. Bad is for me is giving up the 14 points against Marshall after the shutout. We really had high hopes for this team coming in. I think the defense kind of struggled on third down efficiency. It was 7 of 18 Marshall was on third down, which is under 500, but under 50%, but it's still
especially against that quarterback run.
Yeah,
Oof.
you definitely seen that
we
Ohio
have
State
found
was
a
exposed
weakness in this team.
Right.
For sure.
And I mean, a lot of that could be drawn up to one guy, Tyleik Williams, being missing too. But it's like, man, if you're really down, just one, is it really this bad? Because again, we're kind of seeing JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer not really get the production up. I don't know if you want to base that off of. From what I've seen with the teams in the beginning of the season here, these lower level competition games, their goal has been to get the ball out really fast and try to run it. So, like, they really haven't had the chance to disrupt as much, but I want to try to find ways for them to be able to do so. I know, like I said, these teams are trying everything they can to keep us on our toes, and it's working so far here. Especially Marshall found a way to do so.
Speaking of those two, though, I'll at least give Jack Sawyer credit. He finished top 5 in tackles for this game at 4. He was tied with 2 other players, Jordan Hancock and Cody Simon, with 4 on the day. Lathan Ransom had the best day, 8 tackles total, and a forced fumble. So he's playing hard. But JT Tuimoloau, 2 tackles.
We'll see him. He'll show up for Penn State.
So, I mean, goodness God. 2 highly
it's really disappointing with what we've seen out of these guys. Like, these 2 were really highly touted coming in, and we thought, wow, this duo on the field at the same time for 3 to potentially 4 years, and we've had them for 4 now. And it just really hasn't lived up to the hype. At times they shine, but it's like it's never been consistent.
Yeah.
Like you said, though, Jack was able to make his presence felt by getting those 4 tackles. But overall,
we got 1 sack all game. No turnovers again. Second week in a row.
Right. No turnovers again. So that right there is another bad. You know, you got to find a way to get these turnovers. I know these teams are kind of playing scared against us because they don't really have the business being out there on the field with Ohio State, but you got to find a way to force some turnovers. Like you said, Lathan Ransom popped that fumble out, but then it kind of fell out of bounds and messed that up. But those are some bads. The good, though, for me, obviously the run game. The run game has definitely started to find its rhythm. Quinshon Judkins, back-to-back games with big runs, looking like the stud that we thought he was out to be. Travion Henderson, he's looking good. He's looking healthy.
Can I get an amen? Just a run game. Like, I think we finally got it refigured out.
Right. It's been a while since we've seen an Ohio State run game.
Let's see it against a better defense, but I think we got it figured out.
I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the run game. It's looking good. I'm getting hated on by a couple people at work telling me that makes Will Howard overrated, that he's not nearly as good as Kyle McCord was.
Did they not see Kyle McCord last weekend?
Oh, that's because he's not playing with the talent that Ohio State has, is what I was heard too.
So what? He's got a way easier schedule. He shouldn't be struggling against these teams. And he looked like Kyle McCord.
Yeah, they're telling me that Kyle McCord is much better fit than Will Howard. Will Howard sucks. I'm like, Will Howard isn't being asked to do anything for these games.
And neither really was Kyle McCord, and he still couldn't get the job done.
Right. They're like, well, Will Howard threw an interception against Marshall.
Yeah, but that was a 50-50 ball.
Right.
Like, I'm like, a little more. And honestly, if you looked at it, not all his fault, because Jeremiah Smith got a little lazy on that route. If he just kept going and Will Howard just put a little bit more on it, that's a catch all day. So he just went with the mentality, if I throw it up to Jeremiah Smith in a one-on-one, he's getting it. Well, this time it just so happened to go right in the breadbasket of the other team.
So yeah, run game definitely tops my list. I'm going to make Will Howard my good, even though he had that interception. Another efficient day, 16 of 20, 275, and 2 touchdowns. The run game dominated, but Will Howard came out there and still found a way to put up the stats. I mean, that a lot of that Egbuka run was a lot on Egbuka, but
yeah,
still,
he threw a screen.
He turned the Jets on. Finally, a wide receiver screen that worked.
Yeah, no shit.
Jeez,
that's a great. I'll take that.
That's a great.
I'll take that.
I instantly thought that in my head when it happened. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Right, all the way downfield, and then there was like a flag on the play, and I was like, are you kidding me? Don't bring this one back. We need this one.
Speaking of that, though, speaking of bringing things back, boy, Brandon Ennis looked like he was about to break a punt return, and then he slipped.
I thought he had one. I thought he had
I was like, oh my God, I don't know where I can't see from the TV angle if there's guys ahead. But boy, it looks like he's about to do it. He's about to break the streak, and then he slipped.
Yeah, he also had that one bad issue on that one punt.
Yeah, that we got luckily bailed out on. Oh, we got bailed out on some penalty that I'm like, huh? Okay, right. I mean, fine.
That right there could have changed the game on its head, too.
Yeah. I mean, we probably still win by a few touchdowns, but boy, in that point of the game, that would have been brutal. That would have been really.
Oh yeah, everybody would have really been coming down then. But no, overall, Ohio State did what they set out to do. I know they didn't cover the spread in this game, but
shocker,
they called it off in the second half. You could tell, especially when Devin Brown came in. That's a bad for me. We got to start seeing Julian saying, "I'm done with the Devin Brown experience. It's not working." I appreciate the guy for sticking around and wanting to compete and everything at Ohio State, but come on, man. Julian Sain needs to get some pieces.
He needs to do at this point what that UNLV quarterback's doing. Just
exactly.
Like, listen. I would have loved him last year over Kyle McCord. I think he could have developed a lot better than Kyle McCord did, and he had a bigger set of nuts than Kyle McCord did. But at this point, we have who is very, very likely the future of this team next year at quarterback in Julian Sain. And he has got to get the reps at this point. Like, Devin Brown just I don't know if he's like just after that injury, just not looking too comfortable. I mean, in the Western Michigan game, he looked decent for what outside of getting on that one drive, he got sacked like a couple times, but Julian Sain, if you watch, because we have to play Texas next year, if you watch what Texas is right now, because Quinn Ewers went down, now Arch Manning's getting reps, this is giving us a significant disadvantage for that matchup next season, because you're going to have Arch Manning versus Julian Sain, and it's going to be like, well, Arch has playing time. He has way more experience. Right. So if I was Ryan Day, I get it. You want to be like all about this season, but you kind of gotta think about the future. Got to think about the future. That's why James People getting carries is awesome, because he's going to be RB1 next year. Love that. So just get these guys reps. I totally agree.
Yeah, but nothing much more. I mean, after the first quarter, mostly Ohio State took control of this game and looked like the team that we expected it to be. Just a slow first quarter that really had everybody want to pick at Ohio State and poke fun at us for not dominating like we were supposed to. But in the end, they did, and they got the job done, and now they're on the Sparty.
Yeah, we almost put up a 50 spot again. That would have been the third game in a row.
I was hoping so.
It is what it is. I mean, yeah, I'm still bothered by that second touchdown they gave them. Anybody with a functioning set of eyes. I mean, somebody said it best when it came to that Chiefs-Ravens game. They said the guy should have wore white shoes. That's why you wear white shoes. And Marshall had white shoes on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because then you can't quite tell, even though you really could. If you looked at it from the one angle they had, it was like right on that line. You could totally tell, but we shouldn't.
Yeah, I knew that.
The stupid kick out of bounds, and then setting them up, and then them getting good field position on us and driving it on us, led to that touchdown anyway. So
and the targeting.
And fucking Christ, the targeting. I'm so
I don't know if he's ready, but Trav is also in the room.
Say what?
I don't know if he's ready, but Trav is also in the room.
Oh, he's in the room.
Don't even get me started about that freaking touchdown.
I knew that was going to be the perfect time.
Hold on, I gotta fix this camera. OBS was doing some weird stuff on me earlier.
Don't you get me started about that goddamn touchdown.
Well,
touchdown or targeting? Which one do you want to talk about?
Neither, because they're both bullshit.
I
agree with that. I agree with Alex. I did not think that was a touchdown.
There we
go. I was going to be more so shocked if they actually called it back because of how, like Alex said, the white shoes on the white line. Like
I mean, I get why they called it, because they did call it on the field, so I wasn't surprised that they called it.
I think if they called him out of bounds, they probably call it out of bounds still.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Tra-
But the targeting.
well, Travis, good, bad, and ugly, sir. Just in time.
Good, bad, and ugly. Well, the good news is we won. That's always a good thing.
Fact.
The good offense, I know they kind of struggled early on, but I thought they picked it up pretty quickly and looked like the team still that we kind of expect this team to look. The great is the run game, obviously. I mean, when you have two running backs that I think both of them damn near put up 100.
One of them did.
One of them almost put up 200. Yeah, when you have almost 300 yards of rushing, that's definitely a good. Will Howard still not breaking the 300 mark.
He will. But, he's so close. He will.
Like I think I told you guys, or I told Alex, it's like he's probably not going to, just because you got a run game that's running for 300 yards.
I won't even be mad if that's the reason. I won't even be mad.
I'm not mad about it. I'm really not mad about it. So I mean, it is what it is. Bad, well, let's see if I can find it. You know what? I have an ugly, and it's not even related. It's related to this game, but it's not. Ugly. ESPN. What the fuck? How do you have no game cast for this game for the entire game, basically? Like, it crapped out in the end of the first quarter, and you couldn't, like, get any sort of play-by-play or stats. You still can't get play-by-play because
their app. I was like, this game wasn't on ESPN. What is he talking about?
No.
I got you.
Yeah, their app.
Okay.
Even on the website, you can't get play-by-play for this game for some reason.
They must hate us.
I mean, apparently
because we didn't want to be on ESPN anymore.
I mean, it was
sucks to suck.
Right.
I really wanted to check out the play-by-play and like kind of go drive-by-drive, but it would not let you. So,
you guys resubscribed to Peacock yet?
I never unsubscribed. I never unsubscribed.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, it does have wrestling on it. That's true.
We're wrestling fans.
Yeah.
I will never get rid of Peacock for that alone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bad, I will give to the defensive line. They definitely did seem to struggle a little bit more in this game. I do think some of that was plagued by the Tyreek Williams not being there.
It's fair.
Which is a good, but it's also a bad. It's good because that means that they weren't at full capacity. It's bad because we saw that without him, they kind of gave up a little bit more.
Right.
I will say, though, on the flip side, kind of what you're talking about was saying is a good thing for them. It gives them reps, and I'm glad that they kind of got that experience against a team like Marshall and not a team like Oregon, let's say.
Right.
So to get that repetition was good for them, even though they did give up some yards and give up some touchdowns and whatever. You know, it's good for their practice. It's good for in-game reps and kind of getting that stability and getting into a rhythm. So, I mean, I was happy about it for that sake, I guess, but no turnovers, definitely bad. Sucks.
Yeah.
I really thought we
all of a sudden it's just not a. We almost had a fumble recovery early on, but it got knocked.
It was close. I was shocked they even reviewed it.
Yeah,
though.
it took so long to review that. I was like, this is obvious. We didn't get it. But you know, heads up play by that player from Marshall. He knocked it out. So we almost had one there, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So
here's you a bad. What was Joel Klatt doing? He seemed to hate us on Saturday.
This guy,
dude, I don't know.
This guy's too busy gargling Michigan's nuts. I mean,
I see that. I'm like, man, Klatt usually doesn't say much like
he
this.
He just can't stop sucking them. But you know what was really bad, and this was gonna be one of my uglies. Once again, they showed the roof
I know that's where you're going.
inside of the play-by-play booth. We've seen it before on broadcasts. Of course, rival fans are acting like it's the first time it's ever been shown. It's not. It's been shown plenty of times before. Thank God this new AD is coming in, because I hope
there's a lot of updates.
I hope he's, hears the uproar and says, all right, we're renovating the shoe. Because I've seen people say the shoe needs rebuilt, and I said, watch your whore mouth. You are not touching that thing with a bulldozer or anything. You are just going to renovate it. It is too historic to touch, to like break down and build something new there. The only way I would remotely consider it, and I'd still probably say no, is if you guaranteed me 150,000 seats minimum. That's it. Because then we'd have a bigger stadium than the team up north, and I could be like, who's got the biggest stadium now, bitch? I could just be like that. But boy, it's just ugly to see how unkept that is. And like Ryan said, there's so many other updates that we need bigger scoreboards. We need to stop having these.
Oh God!
We need to stop having these wussy ass scoreboards. We need to get better than our rival.
That needs to be first.
I'm
all for like renovating and shit. That needs to be first.
Yes.
Get rid of that dinky ass scoreboard.
Especially the one in the close end zone. That thing is an embarrassment.
Yes.
Why is it even
there is no reason we can't get rid of those two little pillars that the guards stand on. That's totally useless, and just put a big ass scoreboard there, and then put a big ass scoreboard on the other end. Just make it obnoxiously big. We need that. We need to have one that's up to par at least with like Texas. Get it done. Get it the fuck done. And of course, just the game day experience in general needs to be better. But that would be one of my uglies.
Yeah, I agree.
And then of course, just the defense early on, that was very ugly to me. It just seemed like they were lost. They were constantly looking at each other like they didn't know what was going on. Offense was kind of that way sometimes too, but they reeled it in really, really quick in that second quarter, I think. But it just, they knew this quarterback was going to run, and then they just didn't. They never quite adjust to it. And think, he got hurt, so all of a sudden their offense couldn't run for anything. And if he hadn't gotten hurt, maybe Marshall scores like 21 points. And then that's like awful to look at, So I don't know. But that was ugly for me. The bad, I'll put defensive line as well. Just not enough going on right there. That group needs to be better. Now I get it. They were getting the ball out quick, but like on the run plays especially, like just be there, Get to the ball, pursuit quicker, do something. Because one sack in this game, that's just kind of embarrassing.
That's sad.
That's sad.
You think this is like a 4 or 5 sack game?
Right.
I mean, and it's not like they weren't really getting pressure. It's just they couldn't bring him down.
Yeah.
And it's like before they even remotely came close to bringing him down, he's off for like 5 yards.
Right. So we ended up seeing some weakness. Found some cracks in the armor, if you will. We definitely need to get better against mobile quarterbacks. There's a specific team on our schedule that has a mobile quarterback, so 2 + 2 = 4 there. Got to get better against that, and just get better against the run in general. I mean, how many yards do they have total rushing here? Let's see.
125.
Yeah, 125. So like, not bad, but not great against that type of an opponent. You'd like to see that under 100. But yeah, we just got to get better at certain things like that. And I'll put the bad on there. That 50-50 ball interception Will Howard threw. He'll learn from that. It's not like it was an egregious interception or anything.
They're both.
Do you put that on Howard, or do you put that on Smith?
I said it to Ryan before he got on. I said, it's a little bit of both. I think Jeremiah Smith got a little lazy on that route, but Will Howard also could have just put a little more onto it, and I think it would have been avoided. But boy, that's one of those interceptions. The guy caught it over his shoulder and it went right into the breadbasket for him. So, and on the flip side, Marshall had a guy who caught a pass off Davison Ipinosen's helmet that fell right into his arms, and I was just like, huh? Oh, another ugly. These refs. Good Lord. It was one of the worst reffing crews I've ever had the displeasure of watching. The head ref alone, like, it was almost like he was confused to formulate a sentence.
Was it their first game?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was bad. This reffing crew needs suspended or disciplined or something. They need to practice down to the FCS level for a while. Because, boy, were they bad. Some of these reviews taking like 5+ minutes, and it's like...
Well, that was the worst part.
It's like, what do you need to look at? Like, it's clear cut.
Questionable calls happen all the time,
Right.
but like even when you have Klatt and Gus mentioning it on your broadcast, that's when you know it's a problem.
That's a problem.
When the commentators are even noticing just how bad it is, like they commentate on bad calls and everything, but like even when commentators are imploring the refs to kind of speed this shit up, maybe you should speed this shit up.
You should speed it up a little bit. And that wasn't the only Big Ten game with bad refs, but you know which one I'm talking about. But it was just terrible. It was just terrible. So that's another ugly. Good. I'll echo the sentiments of both of you. The run game. This run game, if this keeps up like this, if both of them can eclipse 100 or come close to 100 or whatever, one gets 100 and one doesn't, but they keep scoring touchdowns and breaking free like they are, all of a sudden, Team Up North ain't gonna win that game anymore. Because we all know whoever rushes for more yards in that game usually wins that one. And a certain team in the rivalry not wearing scarlet and gray, all they can do is run the ball, it seems. So just sell out for the run, because they and I know we said that 2 years ago, and then J.J. McCarthy threw up prayers that got answered against a bad defense. But if you do it this year, this quarterback cannot throw a pass to save his life. It's literally egregious how bad he is.
I think he finished with like 37
But
passing
of
yards.
course, we'll do that against them, and then
But he only threw 8 times, right?
And then he'll throw.
It's not that bad.
Then he'll throw for 200 yards somehow on us, and then I'll throw up for the rest of the day.
But he didn't have the best tight end in the league in Colston Loveland. Like
They were handed that game by USC and the refs. They were handed that game, but that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I'll also give a good to Will Howard. He looks more comfortable by the week. He just it's like we said. He's not being asked to do anything special. He's just asked to go out there and not lose the game, and I think he actually
brought that up recently too.
And just get the players the ball and let them do the rest. That's what he's doing, and he's doing a fantastic job over all of it. So I'm pretty pleased with it. No, we do not regret letting Kyle McCord walk out of the door. Could care less about that whiny little loser. Just couldn't care less. So, Will Howard, he's got a bigger set of nuts. It's not really hard to tell that at all. So
I see McCord's brothers now chiming in on everything too.
Who?
Is he really?
Brother.
Was that his brother or his dad?
That was his brother.
Oh, his brother now. Okay, because his dad says some shit too. He's like, "You guys just haven't moved on. We've moved on," and I'm like, "Clearly."
Oh, see, I thought that was his brother that posted that.
What, Dean McCord or whatever? Derek.
I have to
Derek
look at the
McCord.
name, but I saw exactly what you're talking about, and I thought that was his brother.
That's his dad. That's the guy who waltzed his son into Ryan Day's office. That guy, who has been notorious for just being a pain in the fucking ass. They haven't moved on. They're salty as fuck about it. But it is what it is. His son looked like we recognized that he would. He finally showed his true self. But anyway, so all in all, a lot to learn from this game. I think is the best thing to say about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of goods to follow up with some bads. If you're gonna get it, get it now so you can work on it.
Yeah, and now obviously we enter conference play, so it's good to learn these things now, fix them up as we go, and hopefully by the time we get to the real real games that matter for everything, that we're locked and loaded and playing near perfect, because it's we're not going to be perfect, but as long as we're near perfect, that's all that matters. So, all right, let's talk about the Spartan game, boys. Of course, we're on Peacock. Yay, great.
Yay.
I love that gets so many people uproar about it.
I
mean, I get it. What is it, like $5?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I get, I wish WWE had their own app again. So
I miss the WWE network.
I do too.
Because otherwise I just have no use for Peacock. I mean, there is a show on there I watch. It's called The Traders. It's a pretty good show.
I've wanted to watch that.
It's pretty good. I watched this show called The Challenge on MTV. I'm a huge fan.
I watched that.
I'm a huge fan of The Challenge. See, you and me just like the same shit. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe we were separated at birth. I don't get how this is. But no, I watched that show. There's a couple in the season 2. There's a couple or 3 people from The Challenge that are on there, so that got me intrigued to watch it, and it's a really good show. Not as good as The Challenge though. But The Challenge is one of one when it comes to those. But anyway, but otherwise, I don't really have much use for Peacock at all.
I use it for
wrestling, of course.
NASCAR, and Premier League.
Yeah, they do have NASCAR and stuff on there. Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes.
But yeah, hey, I mean, if it makes it worth more, the $5 a month or whatever that I pay for it, fine, I'll take it.
I mean, in 2 years it'll be all on one, so
that's very true.
Just gotta wait.
Yep. So, MSU last year obviously went 4-8. They went 2-7 in conference play. Very bad team last year, and what would end up being Mel Tucker's last year. And it wasn't. He didn't really get. Obviously, he didn't get let go because of the record. He got let go well before the season ended because he got caught tugging his meat. So, good for him, I guess. But Sparty comes into this game 3-1. Was kind of hoping for 4-0, but they played Boston College last game, and it was a duke to the very end. I don't remember the score off the top of my head.
29-13.
29-13.
Or 23-19.
23-19.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I know it was a very close battle. Bill O'Brien, former Ohio State offensive coordinator, doing really well. Doing really well over there in BC. Good job.
Good
job, Bob.
Year.
Good job, Bob. Yeah, I know, Ryan. Ryan's still very salty about this. I think he's just he's just one of those guys that's a better college coach. I know he had some decent success on the pros as a head coach and like somewhat as an offensive coordinator, but boy, man, it just really shows that he must have not had a lot to work with in New England, especially the quarterback wise, which true. I guess
he ruined my quarterback.
He ruined your quarterback. He sure as hell did.
He put the final nail in. Like Matt Patricia started it for sure, and then he.
Well, listen. Matt Patricia never should have been an offensive coordinator anyway. He got his meat and potatoes in the league as a defensive coordinator. Why Bill Belichick ever thought that was a good idea is
Matt Patricia and Joe Judge
is beyond me.
I could go all day if we really wanted to.
But anyway,
maybe someday.
But anyway, this starts a rough stretch for Sparty. I had them 2-2 after 4 games. I had them losing to Maryland and Boston College. They're 3-1, so they're ahead of schedule as far as those terms are. I don't know what you boys had them at, but I think it was around. I think it was around the same thing for all 3 of us.
Yeah, I think 2-2.
But they have us. Then they go to Oregon bye week. At home against Iowa, and then on the road against the team up north. And if you want to throw these 2 in there, because we'll talk about them a little later, then they have Indiana at home, bye week, on the road against Illinois. 2 4-0 teams.
Yikes.
So Sparty's really going to make or break their season in the next 4 to 6 games on if they're going to make a postseason or not. They got to get the ones against Indiana and Illinois at the very least. But I think they're going to lose the next 2, of course, and then Iowa, maybe that's a coin flip and team up north unless they can stop the run and make it a game.
I don't see another win on their schedule till Purdue potentially.
Yeah, it could be rough sledding for old Sparty here.
I'd give them the Indiana one, but other than that, I'm with that.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about Indiana right now. They look like they got a whole new life. These guys.
They have like some of the best odds to make the playoffs this year out of the Big Ten.
Yeah, like they're. I listen. There was somebody I was talking crap to about Indiana, and they're like, "How can you say that they're gonna suck?" And I'm gonna be like, "Well, because I mean, all I've seen them is suck. I mean, they're probably gonna finish at the bottom of the Big Ten per usual. They're kind of a doormat. But this Kirk Cignetti guy, he's
got him scoring
pretty good. I'll fully admit, so far I was wrong about them, but either way, Sparty comes into this game 3-1, like I said, and maybe looking like a whole new Sparty. They should have won that game against Boston College. They really should have. They had it. Failed to do so though, so we got to at least see some weaknesses on there. So Ryan, I'll start with you. Give me some things that you want to see, and obviously I'll tally it up, and we'll see if the Buckeyes grant your wishes going into next week's game. And a score prediction, of course.
Oh, I got you. Looking at their stats here, Sparty gives up about 100 yards on the ground a game. They give up 158 through the air, and they average 14 points a game, give or take on who they've really played, how you want to take those stats and stir them up.
Right.
But I'm putting an emphasis here on Ohio State getting a turnover, because this quarterback here, you can get him out of the pocket and get him all confused and everything, and he's going to force some throws in there, and it'll be easy for Ohio State to get back into the turnover column this week. He's got 7 already on the season. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns.
Wow.
Looks like he's got an arm. He's got 891 yards on the season so far,
nuts.
Which is right. It looks like he's mistake prone. Like he loves to turn it over. So I want to see Ohio State get back into the turnover column here, make his life annoying on Saturday night. So I think that's possible. I want to see the run game continue to get it going. I know that, like I said, they only give up 96 yards a game. I challenge Ohio State to do what they did last week again, over 200 yards rushing again. I want to see them really come in there. From what I saw, it looks like might be some rain in the forecast for this game. We'll see. That changes from day to day.
Fucking course.
If that's the case, I really want to see the run game be established.
Of course.
That's not an excuse.
That's a bad omen against this team. We're almost on the 10-year anniversary of that bad nightmare at home.
Today we have a better offensive coordinator who's willing to actually
You
hand the
are
ball off
absolutely correct about that.
Ezekiel Elliott, if he was our running back going into Sparty this week with some rain and snow in the forecast, he would get more than 8 carries.
He wouldn't be yelling at Urban Meyer to get back in the game, because he'd be in it.
So I challenge this run game to do the 200 yards again, and I think obviously that sets up for success. So I want some. Give me a couple. I'm not really going to put a number on there. Just give me a couple. Interceptions can happen. Like I said, offensively 200 yards from the ground. Give me another 250 from Will Howard. Maybe a couple tutties, 2 tutties there. I think we haven't really seen Sparty play anybody. I know we can say the same thing about Ohio State, but Ohio State's more established. We don't know what we're getting out of Sparty. So they didn't look good the last few times we played them.
That Maryland game was kind of impressive for them.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie to you.
But, Maryland doesn't look good this year either from what I've seen. So
both teams are 3-1 now. So, Maryland's about where I thought they'd be.
About where we thought they were, but I didn't expect them to lose that Sparty game.
Yeah, me neither. I think I had them 4-0 through 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I sure did. They get to play Indiana this week, so we're gonna see if Indiana's for real or not.
But yeah, just offense, find their rhythm fast. Don't start slow in this game. Get out there and run it up early. and hopefully get to see some backups playing in the second half this week. Hopefully we'll see Julian playing. I think that Ohio State, the spread's 23.5, 24.5, hovering around that number. I think Ohio State can cover that easily. I think they can. Yeah, I think they get it by like 30 points here or so. 30 plus here. Ohio State wins it by. My score prediction here would be Ohio State 49 to Sparty. I'd give them 10. That might be too much, but we'll see.
I hope.
I'm highly confident against Sparty because I don't
believe it either. But we'll see. I mean, it is at 23.5 right now. The over/under's 48.5. By the way, kickoff did get moved back 30 minutes.
7:30.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it did. But yeah, right now that quarterback Aaron Childs, probably one of the more athletic quarterbacks they've had in a long time. But you're right, he 4 touchdowns and then 7 interceptions. His best game was against Maryland, touchdown-wise.
I watched a little bit of their first game of the season, and I saw him just make some really stupid throws, and I'm like, come on, man.
He did. He threw for no touchdowns and 2 picks against Tom Herman's Florida Atlantic team. He had a 3-touchdown, 2-pick day, but almost 400 yards passing against Maryland. And then against, who is this, Prairie View? Yeah, Prairie View A&M. He didn't even eclipse 200 yards, but he had 1 touchdown. And then last game, of course, 3 picks, which really lost them the game. No touchdowns, but 241 yards passing. So, in rushing, I mean, he had a rushing touchdown against Boston College. So, again, we're going to face a potential running threat at quarterback. Will we respond? Will we respond?
I hope so.
Travis.
So I'm going to kind of go a little bit more in depth on the whole defensive side of the ball with what Ryan said. First of all, I want to see them completely shut down the running game. I would say under 100 yards total rushing. If they can hold them to that, I think that'll be good for them because I'm looking at the stats too of this kid, and anytime he has to throw it like 25 or more passing, he throws a couple picks. So that will bode well for the secondary. I also want to see a couple interceptions. I'll say 2. I think that's pretty fair. I'm actually going to go a step further. This is just kind of a wish list kind of thing, but I would love to see it happen. I want either on those 2 interceptions, or if it's a fumble, that's cool too. I want either a Lathan Ransom touchdown or a Caleb Downs touchdown.
Okay.
I think with a turnover-prone team like this,
very capable.
Either one of those is very, very plausible to happen. So I don't care which. I was going to say just a Caleb Downs touchdown, but I won't be greedy. I say either Lathan or Caleb Downs, but I want one of those 2. As far as passing, defensively, keep him under, I'd say 150, maybe 200. I think is a good day. He's going to throw probably like 40 times, so they might not keep him under 150 just because he'll probably rack up a ton of not chunk yardage, but just gimme yardage. If you're throwing 40 times, you're bound to get to probably at least 100, even with a good defense.
Right.
So I'm not too worried about the whole getting over him throwing for like 200 yards or whatever. But if they can keep it on 200, fantastic. Offensively, same thing as Ryan. I want to see the run game going, both for the reason that Ryan alluded to and just because. I want to see this run game continue to dominate. I want to see them do it against talent like Michigan State. I really want to see how they handle big conference opponents instead of, no offense, high school teams.
Fair.
That'll be a big test, And, some of the teams played great, yada, yada, whatever. But this is conference play now. This is where the big boys play. And now it's time to see if this line holds up. It's time to see. I know the running backs can do their job, but it's really time to see if that line can hold up and the run blocking can hold up, and they can open those holes against talent like, Michigan State. Obviously, still not the Oregons of the world, but we'll see how they fare. I don't really have anything for Will Howard. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't make any stupid mistakes. Don't throw an interception, please. I guess that would probably be one. Don't throw a pick.
We tend to do that against Sparty, don't we?
Shh. Why you gotta bring that up, man? Why you gotta do that?
I just remember the only time they scored on us in that game with CJ, it was the pick 6 to start the game.
Yeah,
I know.
That was a rough one.
So please don't throw a pick, please.
Break that trend.
Again, make good decisions. I don't really need to see him throw. I'd love to see him throw for 300 yards. I don't need to see it. 250, 275, that's kind of where I expect him to be. No, just play your game. That's the biggest thing for this team. Play your game. Play with the game you've been playing for the last couple of weeks. Defensively, obviously, pick it up a little bit more. I would love to see them get pressure on this child's kid, because if he gets rattled, it seems like he's going to, mess up. So I would love to see that out of the defense. I think that's really all I got.
Score.
56 to... I'm debating how disrespectful I'm going to be.
I stopped at 49.
Fuck it. 56 to 3.
Ooh. God, you animal.
I just looked at the weather for Saturday. It's 68 and cloudy. All the rain's supposed to be moving by the time the game starts.
Oh, okay, good.
So, nice little fall night, basically. I'll take it. All right.
Who's trying to make it?
As far as defensive goes, I'll echo your sentiments. I'll go 2 turnovers. Give them to me. I do want to see a defensive touchdown. I don't care who it's by. Just give me at least one. Total. I won't do it separate. I'll just do total yardage. I want to see us hold them to under 175 total yards. Doesn't matter what it is. Just give me it under 175. I think we can manage that.
I like that.
And I'll say this in transition to the offense, because I keep hearing Ryan Day say it a lot. He's like, we haven't found our identity. We haven't found our identity in this area. I want us to establish and find our identity on both sides of the ball this game. So I want to know what Ohio State is going forward after this game. So establish identity. I'll put that on there. Offensively, Will Howard, I want this to be his first 300-yard passing game. So I'm putting it on him. I'm putting it on the dude. Give me 150 total rushing yards combined. I don't care how it happens. I don't care if it's split down the middle and they both get a touchdown. That's fine by me.
I want 300.
Yeah, I want it all too, brother. And I'll echo Ryan. I want to see Sane in this game. I want to see inside in this game. Since we didn't get to do it last week. Well, we could have done it last week, but Ryan Day decided to be a douchebag about it. And yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Yep. Score wise,
gonna be a douche like me.
I'll go in between you two. I'll go 52-7.
Okay.
I think that's doable.
Well, what was yours, Ryan?
49-10.
And yours was 56-3. So I'll go a little in the middle. I think we can do that. Now,
I've learned I've been too greedy with the score, so I'm hoping to tail it back a little bit here. I don't want to go full on like Trav did. But I'm rooting for Trav.
Right. I'm rooting for Trav's too. Don't worry. I'm definitely rooting for Trav. But yeah, I think that's doable. I
am too, just -3.
That's what
I think the only reason this spread is so low is because it's in East Lansing. And they were like, oh well, I mean, they in their only loss, they still looked pretty good outside of the quarterback throwing 3 picks, but I think we should be able to manhandle them pretty easily. We should be.
Yeah, that's the one.
Fine. Make
That's the one part of it.
Now, if we don't, then we got some problems. Then we got, because guess who we got after that? Iowa. And they got a great defense again. So that's going to really test the offense, is that Iowa defense. So I'm ecstatic to see that. Their offense is so garbage, though, so I doubt our defense will get challenged much going into that Oregon game by Iowa. But
better than last year.
Yep, and that time got announced as well. We faced them at 3:30 on CBS.
3:30?
So.
Little
All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we will have the Ryan Rundown. We will talk about what we learned in college football this week and show you the dead or alive list on the Buckeye Bro Show on the College Football Dogs Media Network.
This is the Buckeye Bro Show on the College Football Dogs Media Network.
Hey there, darling, let me count on you. The road is long and I'm scared what I might find. Won't you tuck me in and out? Tell me everything's gonna be alright, sweet child. Sweet child. Up in the morning, out that door. Who knows what the world has in store for me? I'll be safe with you by my side. Ain't nothing out there can't take in stride. I know you hold me up. You hold me up. So I can fly. When that cold creeps on in and I start to wonder what could have been, I'm just gonna close my eyes so tight, take your hand and keep me to the morning light, to the morning light. And ain't it bright? You hold me up. You hold me up. You hold me up. So I can fly.
Sound the alarms! Something monstrously merry is coming to town. Introducing Bones Coffee's newest batch. Inspired by the giddy ghouls of Disney Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Nice work, Bones Caddy. Rich premium coffee infused with frighteningly festive flavors. The Pumpkin King, Santa Jack, Frog's Breath, Rough Weather, and Mudslide Boogie. Can't make decisions by yourself? Order them all. Bones also makes a perfectly marvelous gift for everyone on your nice list.
And your naughty list.
Click the link to get these hauntingly holly jolly flavors delivered right to your door. And it's not just for holidays. Bones has coffee concoctions for all 365 days of the year. Bones Coffee and Disney Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's terrifyingly tasty. This year, Bones Coffee will be yours!
And we are back on the Buckeye Bro Show. Ryan, are you ready for the Ryan Rundown?
Let's do it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It is time for the Ryan Rundown.
All right, hit us with it.
All right, so we'll start with the college football scores around the nation, whatever you want to call it here. I kind of lost my
The world.
words there for a second.
You
The
did this
world.
more than I do.
Around the nation, around whatever.
The
Well, I was
world.
going to say world, but yeah, we'll say world. All right, first up, LSU defeated UCLA 34-17. The final score does not show how close this game was. UCLA was in this game. It was a fight till like the
They're
fourth
one of
quarter.
the reasons, outside of the team up north, that I didn't win my parlay over the weekend. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
You're welcome. Did you have them like not covering the spread? Or
I had
something?
USC covering the spread, which was like 5 or something, and then I had LSU covering the spread, and boy, did they didn't look great against UCLA. I was very surprised. Those were the only 2 legs of that I
love
didn't hit.
Yeah. I love the fact that the first 2 games I'm going to talk about are the first 2 games that cost you your...
I had Utah money line,
Just rip it off.
Indiana's covering the spread, and Texas covering the spread. Those three hit. LSU and USC fucked me.
Well, that's funny because Utah was the third thing I was going to talk about.
Well,
Just rip the Band-Aid off,
yeah,
right? Just rip it off.
rip 'em
Where
off.
it's like I found this betting slip and I was like, we're going to talk about them all. Team up north, they survived somehow, some way. They beat USC 27-24. Man, they were making life very difficult for USC in the first half, and then USC finally found their rhythm there on offense. And
It's crazy what you
pulled
can
back
do in
in.
football with 5 downs.
Right? I missed that a little bit, but you know.
You didn't see that part?
No, I did not.
So the Sharon Moore getting real ballsy early in the game, going for it on 4th down. He went for it on 4th down the first time. He got it very easily. The second time they got put in that situation, that their running back, that Mullins, he was down a half inch before that line. They didn't review it at all. They just let him line up and go for the next play. Next play, tutty. 7-0 team up north. I was like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, I did see that. I was like, did they actually like do a 5 down like we said
Yeah,
before?
see, I didn't watch the second half of the game, but I saw that
did.
USC came back and got the lead, and I was like, okay, they're screwed now. USC is going to win this game. And then I saw later on what the score was, and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. What happened? And then I saw what happened. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't understand. At that point, USC should have just let the running back score, so they still had 2 minutes to go.
Lincoln Riley had about the worst game plan possible. Like, that was the biggest dog shit game plan I've ever seen him pull. It was totally bad in all aspects.
Yeah,
So, but the refs sucked too. So
they did. Then next up, Utah defeated Oklahoma State 22-19. They keep rolling.
rolling.
Right. Tennessee defeated Oklahoma 25-15. A garbage time score there for Oklahoma in the fourth quarter made it look a little closer than
Now,
it was.
I
but
was told that Tennessee did not have a chance, okay? I was
They did not.
told by the most correct person to ever breathe air, Timothy Bailey. I was told this.
But wait, he did get one thing
He did
right.
get one.
Tennessee did not score 30 points.
He did get one out of those 3 things he said right.
Right. He said they would not score 30, and they did not.
Now
So.
apparently that Nico did turn the ball over a couple times, but he was wrong about how he would turn over the ball a couple times. He did not throw picks. He just
Fumbled.
fumbled. So
Yep. But in the end, Tennessee gets the win. And then the Friday night game, Illinois gets the win over Nebraska.
What a game.
31-24 in overtime.
what an absolute
Great game.
loved every second of that game, and you know, I love as good. Nebraska looked good pretty much the whole way, but so did Illinois. And you know, I love that it got put in that situation. It was a chance for Nebraska to finally get that monkey off their back, that they can't finish these close games and win. And they
Still
absolutely choked it. Oh my God!
What?
Like
some of these other teams in the Big Ten are looking a little good right now.
Listen, I apologize to Illinois. I had them 2-2 at this point. I do not respect them at all.
Illinois look good. Nebraska's look good.
They got to play Penn State this week.
Indiana.
Let's see how good they really are.
I know that's going to be a fun one. Logan's a little scared. I
should
saw
be.
him on Monday.
After what they did against Bowling Green, absolutely he should be.
Illinois could win that game, and then if they win that game, that changes a lot in the future landscape of the conference this season. Boy, does it.
Are you saying we should go ahead and bet the house on Illinois like you told us last year?
He won't say it,
Pull it
but
up. The odds are plus 2,500. Bet on Illinois.
just for giggles, I'm going to look up what they actually are right now.
You know what? Bet Illinois money line. Do it.
Yeah, probably.
Do it.
Hey, do it. Honestly, do it.
It would be a lot better of a bet than that previous one I told you to put money on.
Exactly.
Reading is imperative. Reading is imperative.
It is.
That's what we learned.
NFL scores started off Thursday night. Not good for me. My team came back down to earth. The Jets defeated the Patriots 24-3. We looked competitive in the first 2 weeks and then just did not show up.
Aaron
newly
Rodgers
found
masterclass.
Jets fan here
Aaron
celebrating.
Rodgers masterclass. And I forget who said it on ESPN, but whoever his name was, he said it best. That he looked like a MVP winning Aaron Rodgers, and I said, "You bet the fuck ass he did. You bet the fucking hell." And that was his first touchdown thrown to a first-round wide receiver in his career to Garrett Wilson. Which, by the way, Garrett Wilson, amazing body control in that tutty, beauty.
Right.
But that is egregious.
Yeah, because that was almost a pick six. That almost was going.
That is
away.
egregious that it took over 20 seasons to throw a touchdown pass to a first-round wide receiver. Nuts. I'm glad it was Garrett Wilson, though. Garrett Wilson's happier than hell that he finally has a quarterback worth of shit.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I was really hoping that was a pick because Christian Gonzalez read it and he was just a tad too late.
You know that man doesn't throw picks. Not very often.
Gonzalez almost had him.
A couple years ago, he had like one of the worst seasons of his career when it came to picks, and finally exceeded 100 picks in his career. It took like 17, 18 years for him to exceed 100 picks.
Well, that's because he's afraid to throw it into like tight spaces. He's only going to throw it to you if you're wide open.
He threads the needle, Ryan. He's the greatest needle threader in football history.
Just go back and watch the NFC Championship game against San Francisco, and you're like, the receivers couldn't get open, so who's he going to throw the ball to? Thread the needle, Alex. Thread the needle.
He tried. They couldn't catch anything.
That's why you didn't score.
They couldn't catch anything.
Yeah, Devontae Adams out there. One of the best receivers in the league.
He is a master quarterback, and of course that was never going to be a pick. It wasn't even close to being a pick because he's just a professional dart thrower.
He is a master at being the most overrated quarterback to ever walk the face of this earth.
He's your daddy though now.
He's nothing. He got lucky one day.
He's gonna own the Patriots like he owns the Bears.
Right. He finally got a win over us. Congratulations.
His record against the Patriots is pretty bad. I'll get it to you.
Exactly.
It is pretty bad.
Moving on. Giants defeat the Browns 21-15, which just started all of the weirdness in the NFL this past week. That was one of them. The Vikings just dismantled the Houston Texans 34-7 here. That was just terrible across the board for Houston. The Eagles get the win over the Saints 15-12. Travis's Pittsburgh Steelers get the dub 20-10 over the Chargers. Justin Fields 3-0 against Jim Harbaugh.
2 TDs.
2 TDs. He's 2-0. But
is he just 2-0?
Yeah,
I thought he still played.
Well, we didn't play him in 2020. Remember?
True. I thought he was there for one.
Would have been 3-0.
Yeah. So he's 2-0 against him.
Still.
We'll say 3-0.
Jimmy can't beat him.
He dodged him.
Jimmy can't beat him. So that's all that matters.
Jimmy can't beat Justin.
Nope.
And then I want to skip over this now after the way Alex was talking, but the Green Bay Packers defeated the Tennessee Titans.
We sure
30-14.
did.
Malik Willis, how about
Great decision by Matt LaFleur to not play Jordan Love again this week. Let him heal up. Didn't need him, and I knew going in we didn't need him. Malik Willis, he's just he's doing his thing right now. He's doing his thing. I'm very proud of him for stepping up, especially against this old team. Stepping up, just doing what he needs to do to win the game, and that defense. I believe in Jeff Hafley.
I've heard some people say now.
Yes.
If Jordan Love, when he comes back, has a bad game, maybe Green Bay fans are going to start chipping for Malik Willis to get put back in.
Boy, would that be something, right? that would be something. Nah, Jordan will come back and he'll be fine. Finally, it looks like, because in 3 weeks we have already matched our interception total for all of last year. It finally looks like we have a defense in Green Bay, and that's all we've needed for a long time to get Aaron Rodgers from one reign to multiple reigns. But he's not here anymore, so Jordan Love can just hopefully go win multiple reigns. I would love to eat my words.
Wouldn't it be great if it was the Packers versus the Jets in the Super Bowl?
That's what I want. That's what I want so bad, but it's not going to happen.
I know it's what you want.
It's not going to happen because the Chiefs can't stop getting favorable calls their way. That they probably should be 0-3 right now, or at least 1-2. But they've had calls going their way all year. All of a sudden, what's a pass interference against the Bengals isn't a pass interference in this last game. So,
to be fair, the one against the Bengals was pass interference, and this one was pass interference.
I totally agree. The one against Bengals, totally pass interference. Where was that call last week?
It wasn't a bad call. No, the call last week was PI as well.
Ridiculous.
They just did.
Ridiculous. Wonder why.
And then, speaking of the Bengals, they took an L on Monday night to Jaden Daniels in the Washington Commanders, 38-32. Bengals fall to 0-3. That story, my guys, is not being finished this year.
No.
Listen, there have been a handful of teams that have started 0-3 and still made the playoffs. They are not dead, but boy.
Oh, do not give Bengals fans hope.
But boy.
I love the fact that they're in hiding. I haven't seen
that entire city is reeling sports-wise right now. They are reeling sports-wise. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah,
yes,
they have got they got to figure it out.
If you ever want to try and I agree, just
but
talk about the
Jane Daniels, Jane Daniels was pretty good, and our boy Scary Terry popped off.
Finally got a tutty.
Finally.
So that's the Terry McLaurin we know, and it was even on a pretty broken play, too, that he got that touchdown as well. So, very reminiscent of one JSN in the Rose Bowl. So, that was really awesome to see.
And then, MLB-wise, I kind of shortened this up a little bit because I'm just going to get straight to the point. Cleveland has clinched the AL Central.
Thank you, Royals, for choking an absolute dick down the stretch.
Right. Cleveland clinched it, and they are now 91-67. They're a game behind the Yankees for the number one overall.
We are sniffing their ass. Sniffing it.
Can Cleveland get it done?
Go Orioles, baby! Go Orioles, and Pirates. Get it done.
And then the Reds are 5-5 in the last 10. They're 76-82.
Fired their manager.
They just fired their manager.
Lost the Ohio Cup for the 10th year in a row to the Cleveland Indians.
You love to see it.
I love to see it.
So yeah, I don't understand why you fire your manager with 5 games to go.
That seems so stupid.
Yeah, there's 162 games a year, and you're like, all right, 5 left. We're gonna fire you now. If this was football.
It's currently tied to, actually, it's 5-2 Cleveland right now. So
good. My buddy, it's his birthday, and he's up in Cleveland. He's a Reds fan watching the game tonight.
Well, sucks to suck.
So he drove all the way up there for his birthday to watch
an L. Oh, darn.
Hey, I'm all for it. And then my Philadelphia Phillies. They clinched the NL East
for the first time
in 65 overall.
For the first time in 10 years or something.
First time in 11 years, I think they said. So
crazy.
It's crazy. They've only won it 12 times in their history.
If you look at baseball history, they have 3 of the worst teams in baseball history when it comes to record-wise.
Right.
But they to their point, they have had a tougher division battle in recent years. So
I say you throw the Braves in there. The Mets had that couple runs there.
Yeah. So
the Mets have been on fire lately too.
So.
And the Phillies, as we speak, just got a win, so now they have improved to 94-65 as they just took down the Cubs.
Great team there, and I wish us both the best. You know, we're both, even Jeff Nowak said, the Detroit Tigers are the hottest team in baseball right now. They came out of absolute nowhere and are maybe going to make the playoffs. I hope they do, and I hope you beat the Astros.
They're in there.
Get them out of my way.
We'll see. Almost October time for MLB, so we're getting
we can just sit back and relax because we know we're gonna be there. So that's all that matters.
We're in there. We just got to try and get
that 1 seed. That's all that's left to fight for now is the 1 seed. So
right. So we just had our last home regular season game tonight. We move on to a 3-game series with the Nationals from here. MLS wise, the Crew defeated Orlando 4-3. On Saturday, they started this game up 3-0. And next thing you know, I think it was tied 3-3, and they finally got it to go and got the win here. They improved to 16-8-5. They're in some championship game tonight.
The Campeones Cup.
Yes, that's what he said. They're in that
what
tonight.
Travis said.
I'm following it right now.
Yeah, is it still 0-0?
Yes.
So yeah, last I saw it was 0-0, or as they like to say, 0-0. Probably at halftime, I believe.
Or look at me, I can say nil.
Right. So the Crew getting it together here. Maybe they can get that one. And then NASCAR-wise, Kyle Larson dominated at Bristol. He led like 450-something laps of 500, and yeah, that was a sniff.
I don't know whether to be happy about that or just flat out bored as hell. I was both.
That race went by so fast. I looked up and I was like, because after Logano crashed, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm done.
I knew you would too.
Karma's a bitch.
I was like, I kept it on, but I was like, I don't care.
It didn't matter. He still advanced to the next stage.
Yeah, it doesn't
Karma's
matter.
a bitch.
That's why I wasn't so. That's why I wasn't so
it's
mad
a
about
dirty,
it.
dirty bitch.
Dude, nobody could pass. I felt so bad for Ty Gibbs. Holy shit.
They got to get something figured out with the short track package. It is terrible.
Dude could not pass for shit.
I mean, you got the leaders trying to pass guys who are 3 laps down, and they can't even pass them. I'm like, my goodness.
Right.
Goodness gracious.
Something's got to be fixed with this. Moving on. Last thing for here with NASCAR-wise, Harrison Burton, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr. in his final season, and Ty Gibbs have all been eliminated from the playoffs. And the round of 12 will start this weekend at Kansas.
Damn.
Speaking of being eliminated from the playoffs, it looks like the Fever might be eliminated this day.
It is what it is. Caitlin Clark, Rookie of the Year.
I was shocked they even made it.
That's a bonus on itself for that franchise. So good for them.
They are leading right now though. So, I mean,
I want to add one more thing MLB wise. They're tied right now, but the White Sox, this could be the night.
Really?
This could be the night that they break the record for the most losses in modern day baseball history.
It's coming.
It's coming. Now watch. They end up winning
their social media pages don't even care anymore. They're just like
fans were booing when they won last night. They want it to happen. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, it would be pretty interesting to see some choking going on there, but yeah, very interesting. All right. Let's get into what did we learn in college football this week. Here we go.
Don't you just love this game? Touchdown!
Quarterback has the ball, fades back. There's the throw. He goes long, and the catch, and he's in there. Touchdown!
It's all over!
My God, I shall cherish this forever. I say, Opie, I'll trade you this baseball for your souvenir bat.
Sure.
What did you learn?
Look, shuts up.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, before we go into this, Jeff Nowak asks thoughts on Aaron Chiles so far? Can us MSU fans be excited about what he could become? Like we went over, he's a little rough right now. Throwing more interceptions than touchdowns for Sparty. But he's got the athleticism. He just needs to be a little more polished. That's all. That's all it comes down to there.
He's got the talent. Yeah. It's just you gotta, and he can be taught this stuff. The intangibles, and don't make the bad plays.
I just hope he has the best game of his life against Team Up North. That's all. That's all I really care about.
Not this week, but after this week.
This week I hope he sucks, but the rest of the weeks, hey, I hope he does great. All right. So what did we learn in college football the last couple weeks? Well, number one, we learned that Nebraska still can't win close games. Boy, we kind of touched that already. Just absolute choke job, and they got put in that situation. God was like, here's your opportunity to reverse the narrative finally. And they go into overtime, Illinois scores, and Nebraska just keeps going backwards. Wow. I think they're on a 25 game losing streak against opponents ranked in the top 25 or something. And I don't know what the streak is on games. I think they got one close win last year or something. But I know that record in one score games is brutal for the last 5 or so seasons. So there ain't many dubs on that. There's a lot of L's though. But Nebraska still looked pretty solid in that game despite the loss. I really truly believe that they're going to make a bowl game this season. It's just Matt Rule has to beat out that mentality out of them that when they're in close games they just fold like a cheap card table. They got to stop doing that. So we'll see if they're able to get in that position again and get over the hump finally, because they got one of the best quarterbacks they've had in a long time. So you got something, Trav?
Between this year and all the way to 2022, let's see, 9.
Oh, he's counting.
10. Yeah, 11, 12. They were 1 and 11.
Shocker. Yeah, not surprised. It's not good.
In games that were 7 points or less.
It's not good. Anyway, number 2, Indiana and Illinois may actually be pretty solid Big Ten teams.
That's true.
Illinois, like I said, I had them 2-2 at this point. What did I have Indiana as? Because I had them 3-9. I had them dead last in the Big Ten. I had them 1 and. Hold on, no, that's not right.
I'm about to look at where I had them too.
While he's looking, or while you guys are looking,
I had them 3-1.
The odds were. You want to know what the odds were for Illinois to make to win the Big Ten Conference?
What their odds are right now?
It's probably 40,000.
Plus 400.
They are even bigger than that. They are plus 10,000.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean
for Illinois to win the championship.
Yeah,
not just make
I get it,
but to win.
That's fair.
They don't have ones to make it yet.
Yeah, I had Indiana 3-1 at this point, and these the 3 wins I gave them were the only ones I gave them all season. I have them losing out from this point on, but they beat.
I had Indiana 5-7 and Illinois 3-9.
Yeah, but I had Illinois 5-7 and I had Indiana 3-9. So, we'll see a lot again in this Maryland game. We'll see, because if they beat Maryland, I'll say they beat Northwestern, even though I have Northwestern win that one, because Northwestern's very.
I had Northwestern 2-10.
You might end up actually being right about that. But we'll see if Indiana's really for real against Maryland. That's their first true tough opponent, in my opinion. And then after the bye week, they got Nebraska at home and then Washington at home. So down the stretch, they got some toughies.
You might be looking forward to a Nebraska-Indiana game.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they kept saying that maybe by that game, Nebraska and Indiana would both be undefeated. They were really trying to hype that up as a potential undefeated matchup. It's not going to happen now because Nebraska choked. But it still could be a pretty good game for what it's worth. In Illinois, kudos to Brett Bielema. This is a team I saw being average, and so far they've been above average. Now, is that because Kansas maybe sucks? Is that because, I don't know, but
Nebraska's cursed.
yeah, Nebraska's cursed. I don't know. We're gonna find out a lot about both of those I-lettered teams this week, especially for Illinois' sake, because they play Penn State in the whiteout game this year.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did. Number 3, Utah, and this is Travis's. Utah is the team to beat in the Big 12 with or without Cam Rising. Boy, are they. I thought he was playing in this game, and then I saw afterwards that he did not play in this game, and they still won on the road at Stillwater, Oklahoma. Utah's legit, and we've talked about their schedule. Unless they go sleepwalking one of these weeks, or this backup quarterback, how long he's got to play, ends up choking away a game. This team should, by all purposes, be 12-0 going into the Big 12 championship game and 13-0 after it. This is the team. And I already thought they'd be the team to beat, but I thought that with Cam Rising. I was very skeptical of them without Cam Rising because we saw that last year when they went 8-5, I believe. But boy, Utah's really making a kick. And they honestly, because we saw some weakness with Georgia against Kentucky. Kentucky really screwed the pooch on that one. And, if we end up losing Oregon like we all predicted, Utah might F around and get the number 1 seed at 13-0.
Yeah.
And that would be legendary for them. That'd be awesome for that fan base. And we all know the Buckeye Bro Show has a lot of respect for the Utah Utes fan base and their team.
Yes,
so.
sir. They get a tough one against BYU, but that's about it.
Yeah, that might be a solid because BYU really impressed me this last week. I mean, granted, it was Kansas State, but they looked really good in all 3 phases of the game there. So yeah, they got to play them. I'm not worried about them going to Colorado. I think Colorado's still a fluke. That Central Florida game though, that might be a little tricky. We'll see about that one. But
Iowa State. Kinda, maybe.
Arizona, maybe, probably not. That's at home. So yeah, I mean, this team.
That's this week.
Yep, this team should, by all intents and purposes, be 12-0 by season's end. So, number 4, Kyle McCord is still Kyle McCord. Shocker.
I wonder whose edition this was.
Yeah. Boy.
It's funny because it was going to be one of mine.
Yeah. With the game hanging in the balance and him at Stanford, they're 2-1. Wow, Stanford might actually. All these teams we thought would suck might actually be better than what they're.
I'm telling you, I do like that college football pick'em thing on the ESPN app, and whew, it was bad last.
Guess
week.
what conference it is? The drunk ACC. Shocker.
Yep.
Yeah. Stanford goes into Syracuse and beats them on a last-second field goal. Kyle McCord throws 2 picks, 2 bone-headed picks, and I'm like, "There's Kyle. That's the guy I know."
He did get that rushing touchdown.
Yeah, but all of a sudden he decided, and now I'm starting to look at Ryan Day. I'm like, these quarterbacks have an ability to run. Why are you telling them not to? But right. Will Howard is running, so can't complain.
That's Chip Kelly for you.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
Chip Kelly. I agree. Chip Kelly probably sat him down, watched film from last few years, and said, "We're running the quarterback. I'm just letting you know that. Like, if he has to run, I'm telling him to. So tough shit. Like,
right.
I was your head coach. You have to listen to me in some capacity. I know I work for you, but we're gonna run the quarterback if we have to. So."
It's my offense now.
Which is another reason why it's more important for Julian Sayin to get reps, because if Howard gets hurt, I'd rather have Julian Sayin running the team than Devin Brown at this point. But yeah. Anywho. And the last one, this was from Ryan and Trav. NIL is leveling the playing field some, but it could also be ruining in college football as well. And the reason we say that is because of that UNLV stuff. Where the quarterback, after 3 games, they're undefeated. They're in line for the group of 5 spot in the playoffs right now. He says, "Yeah, I'm going to use my red shirt and transfer. I got promised some NIL stuff that I'm not getting. I'm leaving. My market value's up." And the running back's doing it too, I saw.
Yeah, I saw their running back
so
suit now.
I'm like, oh. So now all of a sudden a new can of worms is open. You know what happens with this stuff. Once a can of worms is opened by one person, everybody else starts doing it. And that really makes me scared for Ohio State.
Lot.
Like, that really puts the pressure on these coaches. Like, you got to make everybody happy.
Goodbye recruiting, hello free agency.
Yeah, it's like you gotta figure out a way to keep these guys happy, or else all of a sudden mid-season, like let's say college football 25 was real life, and Jeremiah Smith after one game says, "I want to transfer because you're not using me enough," and then he just says, "I'm hitting the portal." Fuck.
Right.
Fuck. That is like my worst nightmare about this coming true, is what just happened in the last 24 hours with this UNLV thing. But it also has raised the level for a lot of these, like we talked about in the past. It's raised a lot of the levels for these group of 5 teams, especially the fucking MAC. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Now, granted,
Yeah,
Northern
no
Illinois choked this weekend. You know, they couldn't keep that train
I almost put
riding.
that on there.
They couldn't keep that train riding for that Notre Dame upset. They had to choke it away come MAC time. But we know how MACtion goes. They all beat each other the fuck up, and then their best team is like a 4 or 5 loss team by the end of it.
I went to the OU game over the bye week.
Did you really?
I went down there and checked out
Who'd they
the
play?
OU game. Oh, it was some very bum team.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll look it up. I forget
Hey,
who
listen,
they
you know,
played.
MACtion is fun. MACtion is fun. They got some great football in that conference. And
wait, last week?
No, the week before last, because last week they played Kentucky.
Last
it was
week
like
they played
Morgan
Kentucky.
State or something like that.
Yeah, they got beat the fuck up.
Morgan State,
yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I didn't know that they had a transfer running back from Northwestern. That Tyrus kid, he's a beast.
Yeah. Do they still have
For
that
that-
transfer wide receiver from Ohio State, that Sam Wojciechowski or something?
If they do, I don't recall seeing him.
I don't know if he's there anymore. or
Who,
not.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Sam W something. He's probably not on the team anymore. I'm just curious.
What does he play?
Wide receiver.
He's not on the receiving list,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, he must have graduated then. He was.
I know the week that I was there, the quarterback got benched because he threw 3 interceptions.
Shocker. But yeah, that like Toledo beating up on a SEC team, like good lord. So yeah, these smaller teams are kind of benefiting a little bit, and maybe Marshall will end up.
Bowling Green almost pulled off 2 upsets,
like maybe Marshall talked to Jaden Ballard after the Ohio State game and said, "Hey, those biscuits are here if you want them."
Right.
Because Jaden Ballard, I think that ship is way sailed. I think we saw in that game when he got in why he's never started at a wide receiver for Ohio State.
We forget to add that part to the good. That comment about the biscuits.
Yeah, the bit that what a great coach that guy is. He had him ready to play. Like, kudos to that guy. He had him ready to play, and they played with a lot of grit for at least a half, and then they lost their quarterback, and it kind of all unraveled for him for there. But yeah, that's it. That's what we learned in college football this week.
The best was the comment from Dave. He's like, we were kind of worried about Tyleek.
Yeah.
Right? He loves biscuits.
Oh, yeah. He's injured.
That's great. I love that. All right. College football dead or alive list. This is what it looked like after week 3, the week that we weren't here. Still a lot of alive teams. I moved Washington State up from alive but irrelevant to alive and well because they are undefeated. So I figured, I'll throw them a bone. Obviously, South Carolina choked that game away against LSU, so they went from alive and well to on shaky ground. I had the team up north, obviously still in alive but irrelevant after that Texas loss. But obviously, a lot of teams dropped from alive and well to alive but irrelevant. That ended up losing their first games, as you see there. And some teams dropped a tier or two to on live support. And we got our first dead team a couple weeks ago in Florida State when they went 0-3 after losing to Memphis.
I'm sad that they snuck one out finally.
Yeah.
I was like so close to 0-4.
Yeah, so close. But yet so far. But yeah, a lot of teams ended up on the on live support thing there. And now I'll get to the current one here. This is week 4's. Obviously, the alive and well is getting very, very thin at this point with the undefeated teams. On shaky ground, I moved Team Up North back up. I figured, hey, the solid win. They deserve to not be alive but irrelevant anymore. They are on shaky ground for now. That should change.
Okay, Clemson finding that offense.
Yeah, Clemson just all of a sudden, maybe Dabo Swinney finally gave up and let Garrett Riley run his offense. That's got to be the only answer, right?
Right.
But obviously, Kyle McCord and Syracuse now on shaky ground. I figured since their schedule's easy, I wouldn't put them in the live but irrelevant. They could, their schedule's easy enough they can keep up there. Nebraska, same thing. I still think as of right now, they're a good enough team to be on shaky ground. USC, obviously, they're going to be good, and both the Oklahoma teams there. So that's your on shaky ground tier, and then the rest. The alive but irrelevant list added Cal. North Carolina, who got absolutely embarrassed by James Madison. Oh my God, that was a 20-point game in the end, 70-50, but it was really worse than that. Truly,
I would move them to dead just for that.
Yeah, I can't yet because that's their first loss, but they will be dead in no time, Mr. Napper. I promise you.
Yeah.
And then obviously after this week, Sparty should move down another peg. And then, obviously, Arizona State and Kansas State join the alive but irrelevant stage. And then, of course, on live support, we added some more teams to the mix. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. Good fucking God, Virginia Tech. Wow. Yeah, I was told by somebody, not on this show, but somebody, that I would eat my words on being confident about Virginia Tech. And I'm eating them in insane amounts of ways. They are just... We're going to talk about them here next. But North Carolina State, they just can't catch a break. They lost Grayson Call, and then they're just getting absolutely mud stomped by Clemson. That game was that game had a closer score than it should have been, obviously too. Then of course Minnesota, they'll be dead after this week. They play the team up north, unless they find a way to win, which would be hilarious. Then Northwestern, Purdue, UCLA, Baylor, TCU, Vanderbilt finally joining the on live support, and Auburn as well. Auburn will be dead by next week too, unless they decide to beat Oklahoma, which would be absolutely hilarious too. But we added 3 more dead teams, boys. Kansas, who, boy, what an absolute...
Who saw that coming?
Yeah, who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? Houston makes sense. Mississippi State makes sense. Both absolute dog shit programs right now. Rest in peace, Mike Leach, who has to look at his former team absolutely shitting themselves out there on the football field. So we will get into the surprises and disappointments after this next break, and we will talk about Justin Fields and do rapid-fire picks on the Buckeye Bro Show on the College Football Dogs Media Network.
This is the Buckeye Bro Show on the College Football Dogs Media Network.
Yum, yum, get you some. Yum, yum, get you some.
Seasoning, food's favorite flavor.
Yum, yum, get you some.
I'm Joe Burrito, your favorite burrito. Whoa, whoa.
Joe,
hey.
We all know you're the best.
What?
You can always do better. Try the new Dano's Hot Chipotle.
Hey. Ooh, that's spicy. Yum, yum.
Yum, yum, get you some.
Icy Breeze is the world's first portable air conditioner and cooler. A premium ice cooler that doubles as an eco-friendly portable air conditioner. This is not a swamp cooler, just blowing air across ice. Over 60 parts and components allow Icy Breeze to achieve what no other product in the world can do. The secret behind the Icy Breeze is an innovative design that circulates chilled ice water through a heat exchanger in the lid, replacing the Freon used in most ACs. Fresh air is drawn from hidden vents in the top of the cooler, pulled across the exchanger, and chilled down to 35 degrees cooler than the outside air. A 3-speed fan control delivers Icy Breeze's dry, cold air up to 25 miles per hour, just like a car AC. And a stay-put flex hose directs the breeze in any direction. Wherever you need it, Icy Breeze helps you beat the heat.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
And we're back on the Buckeye Bro Show. Travis, are you ready for Hot Wheels Hot Takes?
Yes.
Here we go. All right, hit us with it.
No, only I can be Hot Wheels.
Only you can be the Hot Wheels.
So I didn't really watch the game, but I followed along with the Carolina Panthers game because I had fantasy football to watch with that game. And so this is probably a stupid take, and it's totally fine. But I'm going to say it. Andy Dalton probably should still be a starter at this point in the league, and probably should have been the last 5 years. And it's kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid that he wasn't, and that he hasn't been. Because if anything this year has taught us, it's this. If you have the right system around a quarterback, shocker, they can actually be good and win you football games. Oh my God. It's a miracle. Who would have ever thought?
So what's that say about Bryce Young? Because
see, I don't think he has the right system. I honestly think that was a fluke.
No, he doesn't.
I honestly think that was a fluke game. But I will agree with you. I think he's still starter worthy. I think who was he with after the Bengals? Just the Saints, or was it a couple teams? No, he was on the Bears at one point. He was on the Bears at one point. I remember that.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a garbage organization. We know that.
Yes.
But
I'd rather have it than brisket and cheese.
Right. But but yeah, Andy Dalton, he's still got some pop, and he showed that. And Bryce Young,
I got another one for you. It's not really a hot take, but it's my thought on Bryce Young. Bryce Young needs to be traded to the Dolphins. He should demand a trade to the Dolphins.
That would be the move right now that may save his career. But boy, if he can't go there and succeed, he has no future in the NFL. Like, correct. I can give him somewhat of a pass for being on the Panthers and I get it. We just watched Andy Dalton throw for 3 touchdowns and absolutely dominate in an NFL game with the Carolina Panthers in the least talented roster in the league. But, I can give Bryce somewhat of a pass, even though I still don't believe he's an NFL caliber quarterback. But boy, if you ended up trading him to Miami and he goes in there and just can't get it done with that talent pool.
It's also time for Jacksonville to say, done with you, Trevor. Mac Jones, your turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I don't know what they should do at this point. That's nuts. It's fair nuts. So
I tried to think of other teams that he could go to that I could see the Jets maybe picking him up, possibly. I mean, they need a future quarterback eventually.
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
McKenzie goes after Aaron Rodgers leaves.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a good spot for him. I mean, there's not really anywhere else that desperately needs a quarterback.
Ryan, the Jets can't do that. They're holding out for when Jordan Love's ready.
Probably so. Well, that's why. Yeah, I guess.
And I don't want him to go to I'm not really rooting for him that much, but I really don't want him to go to the Giants either. That would be his detrimental to his career as where he is now.
I guess this could be a topic as well off the Bryce Young train, but another like a rookie in this league, Sam Darnold, the way he's balling out right now, what does that say for JJ?
I mean, he's still going to have his spot. Darnold's looking great. Good for him. He's still got a shelf life.
It's going to be beautiful watching J.J. McCarthy never start as an NFL quarterback unless Sam Darnold gets hurt. And like Sam Darnold, this is the only way I'll let Vikings success be a thing, is if it keeps J.J. McCarthy from starting a football game. That's hilarious to me.
For McCarthy, this is the greatest thing that could probably happen to him.
I mean, he could be a career backup like he's always meant to be, or he could go to the UFL, where he belongs.
Rivalry aside, this is what pisses me off about the NFL sometimes. Is like we need to stop adopting this idea that first round draft picks have to start.
Yes, Patriot fans are pissing me off wanting Drake May right now. Like, don't put him in.
It has to stop. At some point, they've got to stop that bullshit expectation.
Right.
It doesn't always work. Sometimes it works. I get that, and I get why teams want to do it.
We've only seen it work. What, one time in
DJ Stroud?
Yeah.
Right.
In the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Mac went to the playoffs his first year, but then after that, Bill said, "Let's go get the worst offensive coordinator and the worst offensive line coach we can possibly get, and screw you up."
Yeah.
Here's how you know it's stupid. Even the greatest quarterback currently in this generation didn't start immediately.
Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, he didn't start. He didn't start immediately. You're right. He was behind another Hall of Famer. You're absolutely correct. So,
not that old ass.
That beautiful man. God, I love Aaron Rodgers.
I don't. I put him on that bench this week, and
he's been riding my bench too, and he scored more. He scored more points than what's his nuts, Jalen Hurts. So
thank God I had Fields because
I benched Jalen Hurts this week for Kyler Murray.
Oof.
Really?
Kyler Murray's playing Washington, and they're the worst against the pass. So
that's fair. That's fair.
All right. Surprises and disappointments for college football so far. We kind of already talked about a few of them. Obviously, surprise-wise, Indiana, Illinois. Disappointment-wise, Virginia fucking Tech and Florida State. Good sweet
Virginia Tech.
Good sweet Jesus, Virginia Tech. Let's talk about them for a little bit. Boy, this is a team I had 12-0. Yep, that's
I let you talk me into all the hype too.
Me too.
To be fair, they should have.
To be fair.
I was defending it at work too. I'm like, yeah, Virginia Tech, they got like 15 returning people on their team.
Yeah, they had an easy schedule from what it seemed.
Easy schedule. They avoid Florida State. They avoid Clemson. Like,
cakewalk.
By all intents and purposes, it should have been like that. But boy, they screwed the pooch against Vanderbilt. Then they beat Marshall, which we just saw what Marshall. Then they beat Old Dominion, who's been a team in like the past 5 or 6 years that's been an absolute terror for them. A couple times, beat them, upset them. And then they play Rutgers, who we thought maybe that'd be a coin flip game because, Rutgers might actually have a solid season this year with what they all got back. But Virginia Tech is now 2-2, and they have to play a team that looks like maybe they might be back because they got a quarterback that Ohio State should have, Cam Ward, in Miami. So, yeah, I think the season's over for Virginia Tech after this week, and that pick for me for the playoffs is
all of us.
I don't. Did Travis have him?
I did too.
Well, okay. Well,
I followed the hype train.
Sorry, guys. Don't listen to me, I guess.
Yeah, I had them as the 8 seed playing Penn State.
Yeah, Virginia. Oh boy, Virginia Tech. Good, sweet God. A surprise would be Miami so far. I think they've. I mean, granted, I think. Yeah, I had them 3-1 to this point. I had them losing South Florida for a while there. It looked like they were struggling with South Florida, and then of course they ended up blowing them out in the second half. Did a lot better against South Florida than Alabama did. So,
facts.
I had them losing to Virginia Tech this next game, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go into the bye week undefeated at this point at 6-0, and then then they play the real stretch of their schedule. They got Louisville on the road, Florida State. They should be able to beat them, right? I mean, they got that last game of the season at Syracuse. Miami, boys, everybody who picked them might actually be a genius because they're looking pretty solid with Cam Ward, and I'm starting to have FOMO on the fact that we didn't get Cam Ward. Not that Will Howard's bad, but imagine this offense with Cam Ward.
We just haven't asked Will Howard to do what Cam Ward is doing.
Imagine this offense with Cam Ward. Yeah.
True.
So we'll see if we end up regretting that in the long run. But yeah, I'd say they would be a surprise. Let's see who else is a surprise or a disappointment, boys.
Surprise the entire MAC.
Yeah, the entire MAC. Yeah. We didn't pick them obviously because and I'm waiting to put a group of 5 teams on the dead or alive list until playoff brackets start coming out because that. I didn't want to put like an infinite amount of more logos on that fucking graphic. It just wouldn't have worked. So I'll put them on eventually, but when they actually matter. But I can't really because everybody else. I mean, they're kind of playing out the way we all pegged them so far.
I mean, you could probably. Well, I was gonna say Texas maybe. But we haven't really seen them in conference play yet.
Yeah.
So.
And Archman had a great game the last game, but he did throw a couple picks. So, I mean, he is kind of human. Obviously, Notre Dame, I would say they're a disappointment thus far because of that one loss that they have. I mean, they did rebound very nicely against Purdue, which still blows my mind that they just blew the doors off of them like they did. Holy crap.
Right.
Oh, I got a surprise.
Okay.
Vandy.
Yeah, Vandy, they did end up. They ended up losing their first or second game recently, but they started out pretty nice. I had them 3-9.
Almost beat Missouri.
Yeah, that Georgia State game. I don't know how they lost that one, but they did. But yeah, that Missouri game, they gave them a huge fight. So they got a bye week now, but then they play Alabama after that at home.
I got a team that they only got one loss right now, but they haven't looked good aside from one game. But you might say we regret on Cam Ward, but I bet Kansas State is missing Will Howard right now.
Yeah, you're nailing the head on that one. What are they? 2, 3-1,
They're
3-1.
They're 3-1.
Okay, but they play Okie State.
They haven't looked good. They almost lost. It took a pass interference call against Tulane to stop them from losing game.
Very true.
So they snuck out of that one. They did dismantle Arizona.
That was close. That was close for a bit.
Yeah, and now BYU beat them 38-9.
Just mud stomped them.
They had to Oklahoma State this weekend, which could or could not be an L. But hopefully they beat Colorado in 2 weeks.
Yeah, at this point, I'm on the Colorado losing train. I mean, they got a great win against Baylor. Heroics at the end there. That was pretty cool. But
it should have never.
But yeah, it should have. Yeah,
should never came to that. But yeah, those are some good surprises and disappointments so far. So let's talk about Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Now I won't say all Bears fans. Because there are some Bears fans on the Twitterverse that are very supportive of Justin Fields, and they're like on the bandwagon of why did we ever get rid of this guy? Like all we had to do was build around him, and we could have just taken the next step. Then of course there's still the Bears fans that are really believing in Caleb Williams, and they're like, oh, look how many yards he threw for, even though it was on 50-some passes, and it took him 3 games to finally throw a touchdown pass. And we're starting to see the real Caleb Williams is what we're starting to see. And we're starting to see that Justin Fields was not the problem in Chicago. Big shocker. Who told you that? So he goes to a competent organization, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and all of a sudden he gets thrusted into the starting spot because one Russell Wilson got hurt. And then look at him now. He's 3-0. Is he putting up eye-popping numbers? No, but he doesn't have to. This defense is arguably one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL right now.
TJ Watt's a monster.
TJ Watt is TJ Watt, as we know.
My Lord and Savior.
Yeah, but Justin Fields, he's got 90 yards rushing right now and a touchdown. He's got 518 yards passing, 73% completion percentage.
That's the big one.
Awesome. Two touchdowns, one pick. So, not the greatest TD interception ratio in the world, but the biggest thing that he's doing outside of the completion percentage is he's getting wins. And he's 3-0. He's one of the only 3-0 quarterbacks on one of the only 3-0 teams left in the league right now. I think there's like 5. Death, taxes, the Steelers finish above 500. Justin Fields is making sure that happens. Travis, you have the floor first, sir.
I could not be more excited.
And division leaders.
And division leaders.
By a couple games.
Forget it.
Crazy.
Who
would have thought?
Crazy.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with what I'm seeing so far. Like you said, he's not putting up jaw-dropping numbers. I think that'll come. I don't expect him to ever be, an elite passer in the NFL. I expect him to be a good passer in the NFL, and I think he's got the potential to do that, and I think he's showing it. We talked, I think, during the break. If this team could get one more bona fide second option at wide receiver, I think this team could be deadly. I really do. I think this offense as a whole could be deadly.
I agree.
Because I think they have a really good option at that number one on the depth chart, George Pickens. We've seen him connect with him on a couple of bombs in just these 3 games to where, those two have connected tremendously. A couple of them were, moved back because of penalties.
Yeah.
They cleaned that up this week, so that was cool to see. Broderick Jones cleaned it up specifically, so that was cool to see. But yeah, if they can get one more, like in the middle of the field kind of receiver that can handle the pressure being in the middle, this team is deadly, I think, in my opinion. Because Calvin Austin, speedster, very good receiver, I think very solid. I don't know what this offense is going to look like when they get Roman Wilson into it. You know my opinion on Roman Wilson, but I'm going to see what happens when that happens. Even still, I think he should be the third option anyway, just being a rookie in general.
Yeah.
So if they can get a good second option onto this team, they got Van Jefferson, but he's like a depth piece at this point.
Right.
They need a good second option, I think, to kind of be that kind of, even if it's just a check down, just check it down, just move the field a little bit more, and I think that they could start getting into the red zone a lot better, and it'll help Justin Fields and his confidence a little bit better. They've got Freiermuth, who's I think kind of in that role right now, but
yeah,
I've been impressed. Like I said, he's not wowing with the numbers. He wowed me with the numbers this week. 245 yards and like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Great game.
He's doing it with his legs. I was very pleased to see that part. That part in general is something that the Steelers have desperately been missing since Ben Roethlisberger, is somebody that can extend the play with their legs, and he does it even, honestly, at a better clip because he's
faster,
faster and not 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
So he's able to move out of the pocket. I love what they're doing. They've adjusted the play calling, I think, a little bit to fit him better. I think they're finally starting to learn that, hey, don't put him under center because it's not where he's comfortable.
Right.
Who told you that?
Travis.
So,
Facts.
But there's going to come a game where I'm looking at the schedule, that Dallas game, although the Dallas Cowboys look kind of like shit.
I think you win this week against the Colts. I really do.
I do too. I think the Cowboys game is probably going to be a loss. Raiders, I think they can beat them. Jets, that's going to be another test. But honestly, as long as they stay competitive in those games,
that's tough. You can't stand either team.
Man, the fact that you got to wait until November 17th for your first division game, that sucks.
And look at that. Like,
that is
Ravens.
Did we not say on this show though that the Steelers need to amass their wins early on?
Yeah.
Because if they want to finish above 500 and guarantee it, get your wins early, and they're doing that. But I think they got a team good enough to win some of those games late too. So that's the key.
I mean, we're 3-0 now, so
4-0 probably after this week. Maybe
4-1.
Yeah, 5-1. Maybe 5-2, 6-2 before the bye at worst, probably.
Yep.
Not bad.
7-2 against the Commanders. I'd say by the time we play the Ravens, they'll be 7-2.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
All you gotta do is win one of those games, or like win 2 of those games, and
you're above 500. So,
and let's be honest, the Browns and the Bengals are kind of shit right now.
Yeah,
so
you should at least split those games.
The Browns.
You should split those games at the very least. So, yeah, we'll see.
Honestly, I think that they could run the table on both those teams.
It's possible.
I think they can with the Browns. I think the Bengals have a chance at figuring something out.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, maybe when the Browns get Nick Chubb back, maybe that'll change. I don't know.
Yeah, but defensively they don't have Garrett.
Their offensive line right now doesn't look like it did a year ago.
Honestly, with the offensive line, I wouldn't even rush Chubb back.
It's crazy what a change in offensive line coach has done to that line. It's just not good.
Well, it doesn't help that they've lost their left tackle and right tackle for the season.
I mean, that doesn't help either. But everybody's like, get Bill Callahan back. Get Bill Callahan back. So.
And I'm saying that about Chubb while I have him on my fantasy team.
I do too. I have him stored.
I have Ford, and then once he comes back, Ford's going to be useless. So he's not exactly useful right now. But
I have Ford and Chubb.
Yeah. So, yay.
You have a Ford Chubb?
Yeah, I do. And it's a piece of crap.
But yeah, Justin Fields 3-0. Has a better record than C.J. Stroud now because Stroud got absolutely dicked down, no lube by the Vikings. So. One of the worst games I've seen C.J. Stroud play in the pros, obviously.
So what you're saying is 2 Ohio State quarterbacks are doing well in the NFL?
Outside of that last game for Stroud, yeah.
What?
Yeah, big
winning record.
Shocker.
Big shocker. But yeah, very proud of him. All right, let's do rapid fire picks. Here we go. All right. Obviously, last week we did not have a show, but we did do our picks behind closed doors. And we had the picks that we did on the previous show. So we got 2 weeks to show for, boys. And
everything I did.
There's a tie on top. There's a tie on top. So I'm just going to put this over my shoulder because I'm tied for first. Yep. I'm glad we're both ready. We're both ready.
Ready.
I went 8-8 the past 2 weeks. So I'm at 27-21. Travis went 7-9, then 9-7. To pull a little bit closer to us. He was 3 behind. Now he's only 2 behind. So he had the best week out of all of us with the 9-7 last week. So 25-23 for Mr. Napper, and Ryan at 8-8 and 7-9 last week allowed me to tie him for first. So there is a tie at the top again.
Boy, was last week tough.
Yeah, last week was tough. I was going through our games, and like one week Travis started out like 0-3, then he went to 3-3, and it was just a back, and it was a really drunk couple of weeks for the NFL.
I know last week I got 1 game correct in the 1 o'clock window, just one.
Yeah, it was.
I almost got 2 because I took the Saints over the Eagles. I think.
Picking the Packers has helped me a little bit when you guys didn't against the Colts and stuff like that. But yep, it's all been pretty much evened up. So Travis only 2 games behind, still anybody's race obviously at this point. So let's go to NFL Week 4 here.
Breaking news: Caitlin Clark has been eliminated.
And you know, it is what it is. I mean, she's going to come back.
At least this game was closer.
That team has a lot of pieces to be good in the future. It's really the Las Vegas Aces world, and they're just living in it because I think they're going to end up repeating again, unless New York has something to say about it. But
I think New York does.
We will see. All right, rapid fire picks. Here we go. Tomorrow night's game, Thursday Night Football. The reeling Cowboys against the Giants, who somehow beat the Browns, Mr. Hill.
Cowboys bounce back and get the win.
Cowboys over the Giants for Mr. Hill, Mr. Napper.
Every fiber of me wants to pick the Giants, but I can't do it.
Over
Cowboys.
Giants, and I too have Cowboys, so straight down for your Buckeye Bros there. Eagles at the Bucks. I have the Bucks, Mr. Napper.
I'm gonna take the Eagles.
Eagles over Bucks. This one's hard to peg. I mean, the Eagles didn't look too good against the Saints, but they ended up figuring it out late in that game.
But the Saints are a good team.
Yeah, the Saints are a good team, as we know, and the
Bucks didn't look so good against the terrible Broncos.
Yeah, the Bucks didn't. Baker Mayfield had a Baker Mayfield game. He came back down to earth. Mr. Hill.
I don't feel as confident with my pick now, but I'm going Eagles.
Eagles over Bucks for Mr. Hill. Okay. Saints, Falcons, Mr. Hill.
I'm going Saints.
Saints over the Falcons for Mr. Hill. Mr. Napper.
Oh, I'm going to take the Falcons.
Falcons over Saints for Mr. Napper, and I have the Saints over the Falcons as well. That's a coin toss for me. After seeing both teams last week, that's a coin toss. If Kirk Cousins plays like he did, that could be a one for the Falcons. That could be a one-up for Mr. Napper there next week. Vikings at the Packers. Choose your team wisely, Mr. Napper. Packers over. I think Jordan Love is playing. Just putting that out there. Malik Willis has been downgraded to 0 points in fantasy this week, so I think that means Jordan Love's coming back.
He's not even 0.1.
Mr. Hill.
I'm going Vikings.
Vikings. All right. I get to get one up on Mr. Hill here because I'm picking the Packers to beat the Vikings at home. I believe in Jeff Hafley. These are two of the best defenses in the league right now. The Vikings and the Packers. So. Rams at the Bears. Again, choose your teams wisely. I'm picking the Rams to continue off last week's success, Mr. Napper.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams.
Rams. Oh, don't let me persuade you. Rams over the Bears. Mr. Hill.
Yeah, I'm going Rams as well.
Rams over the Bears. I love it. Fuck the Bears. Straight down for your Buckeye Bros. Bengals Panthers. This is an interesting one now. Andy Dalton against his former team. He just takes over the reins. Has a great game in his first start with the Panthers. But are the Bengals due for a win, Mr. Hill?
I'll give it to him and hope that I'm wrong.
Bengals over the Panthers. I hope you're wrong too because I have the Panthers over the Bengals. Mr. Napper.
I'm going to side with Ryan on this one. I'm going to take the Bengals and hope I'm wrong.
I'm going to end up eating this. I just know it. All right. Jags at the Texans, Mr. Napper. Texans over Jags, Mr. Hill.
Yeah, CJ bounces back here.
Yeah, I agree. One bad game against a defense that's actually surprisingly good in the Vikings last week. CJ bounces back against a very, very, very bad, for no reason, Jaguars team. Broncos at the Jets. I, of course, have the glorious Aaron Rodgers beating the Broncos, much to Ryan Hill's chagrin. Mr. Hill.
Yeah, me too.
Jets, Jets for Mr. Rodgers and Mr. Hill there. I'm gonna start calling you Ryan Rodgers. Does that sound good? You're starting to believe in him a little bit. Travis.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Jets over the Broncos. Straight down for your Buckeye Bros. I don't even have to ask this, but I'm going to. Steelers at the Colts, Mr. Napper. Steelers over the Colts. Ryan.
I haven't picked them yet this year, I don't think, but I'm gonna pick them now and hope that it works the other way. I'm taking the Steelers.
Steelers over the Colts for Ryan as well. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what Anthony Richardson.
Trav, you trying to go?
It depends on what Anthony Richardson you see, right? Because, boy, he threw this one pick last week that was, like, one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Literally right to, like, just stared him down.
Right in the end.
Stared him down the entire time. Like, looked right at him and threw him the ball. Like,
he's like, oh, you want me to throw it to you? Here you go.
I have the Steelers as well. Ryan, is this the week that your Patriots bounce back against the 49ers?
No.
Okay. All right. The beat up 49ers take down the Patriots, according to Ryan. Boy, week 1 looking more and more like a fluke as we go on. Travis.
Hey, to be fair, week 2 we were competitive.
It's fair.
We went to overtime.
Very true.
And could have won that.
Very true. Very true. And this is a beat up. This is a reeling beat up 49ers team right now. They are 1-2, and I am loving every bit of it. So I'm going to root for the Patriots this weekend. So
I'm going to root for us too.
Well, of course. I mean, I would expect you to. Travis.
I know if he picks us, we got no chance.
I'm gonna take the 49ers.
49ers.
And hope it goes.
And hope it goes the other way. Yep. I'm the same way. 49ers over the Pats, but I hope it goes the other way.
I never thought it'd be the day that everybody's saying they hope the Pats win.
Right. The surprising Commanders over a Cardinals team that a couple weeks ago looked good, but last week did not win against the Detroit Lions. Mr. Knapp.
This one's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, honestly.
I think
Terry versus Marv.
I know, dude. I hope they both go off.
Me too.
But I'm gonna take the Commanders on this one.
Okay.
Hey, if they both go off, then my fantasy option was great.
Nice. I have the Commanders over the Cards as well, Mr. Hill.
I got the Cardinals.
Cardinals. All right. So me and Travis get one up on Ryan there. Pretty sweet. Cool.
So you're saying Marv has a slightly better game?
Yes.
Hey, there you go.
Is that the deciding factor?
It is at home for the Cardinals, so that might be the difference maker.
That is true.
Chiefs at Chargers. Mr. Hill.
Chiefs.
I love that. Fuck Jim Harbaugh.
That's right.
Not J.K. Dobbins, so we love him, but fuck Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
Fuck this love affair they're faking right now. Dobbins should just tell him he's an asshole and to go fuck himself. Travis.
I am also taking the no DPI team.
I'm taking the Chiefs too because the NFL refused to let them loose. Shocker. Browns, Raiders. I have the Browns bouncing back this week. I don't know what to think about the Raiders, so I'm picking the Browns, Mr. Rapper.
I'll be different. I'll take the Raiders.
Raiders, Mr. Hill.
So we both get a game up on Trav here. We take the Browns
over the Raiders. Yeah, I mean, hey, we saw them beat the Ravens. It could happen again, I guess. I don't know what to think about this. It seems
I don't know what to think about either team.
The coach claims.
That's why I had to take a chance.
The coach claims that he had players making business decisions. I don't know what that means.
It means he had a defensive player that was playing shit all and was like not even trying to tackle.
Yeah, I guess that must have been it.
If you look on Twitter, there's a bunch of people that pointed out that there's one player I don't remember what the name of the player was, but like he just gave like no effort whatsoever.
Very, very interesting dilemma down there in Las Vegas. Bills at the Ravens, Mr. Hill.
This one's tough.
It is tough. Ravens bounced back very nicely last week.
We got a great Sunday night game final.
That is despite the Ravens' record, these are two teams that likely in the end will probably both be in the playoffs. I don't think I had the Bills in the playoffs this year, but the
Bills are at home, right?
They are not. They are on the road.
At Baltimore.
At Baltimore.
Yep.
I'll take a chance on Baltimore.
Ravens over Bills for Mr. Hill, Mr. Napper.
The only reason I'm taking the Ravens is because it's at home.
Ravens over Bills for Mr. Napper. And I, too, have the Ravens over the Bills. Second week in a row, we have 2 Monday night games. Do we like this?
I think
it's dumb as well. Why are they both on at the same time? Not everybody has 2 TVs to just mount up and watch 2 games at once. This is very dumb.
They don't even put good games on, so I don't even care to do that.
I don't know what's going on with that either.
It cuts into my Monday Night Raw watching.
Very true.
I haven't watched Raw in like 3 weeks.
If I had even remotely cared about these 2 games that were going on, I almost would have missed the fact that Jey Uso is now your IC.
Yeet!
Yeet!
Yeah, congrats to him. Like, very emotional in the crowd. It was really cool to see. I'm glad he finally got some gold. Now all we need is for Jimmy to come back and the Civil War can begin, right? But Titans at Dolphins. I have the Dolphins bouncing back in this one. The Titans are just really bad, Mr. Napper.
I can't go that far. Not with whoever's going to be at quarterback for the Dolphins. I'm going Titans.
Oh, Travis says they get their first win finally. Will Levis maybe doesn't put mayonnaise in his coffee this week and gets a win. Mr. Hill.
But tough. I'll go Dolphins.
Dolphins over the Titans. And a really good one, actually. Seahawks at the Lions, Mr. Hill.
Going Lions.
Lions over the Seahawks for Mr. Hill, Mr. Napper.
I'm going to go Seahawks.
Seahawks over the Lions for Mr. Napper, and I have the Lions as well over the Seahawks. Just because it's at home, it could go either way. Both teams are...
Forget Lions versus Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't make me hurl. Don't make me hurl.
I'm kind of just hoping that that defense is for real, but to be fair, they faced... I saw it even on Fantasy, they mentioned it. Like, they faced Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, and...
I will say this. I hate your Lions pick, but I know you had the Ravens win the Super Bowl. I would rather see that happen than a three-peat for the Chiefs at this rate. I'd like to.
I think that would be.
I'd like to see the better Harbaugh get another ring just so he can prove once again he's the better Harbaugh, and doesn't have to cheat to do it. Obviously, I had to throw that in there, of course. But yeah, there's your rapid fire picks. We will see if there's a lead change. Maybe it stays tied up at the top. Maybe Travis pulls up and ties us all at the top, and then we have a three-way duking out to go on there. So we'll see. But only 2 Buckeye Bros get to wear the belt this week. So we'll see if Travis can join the club.
I mean, technically, I won this week.
Yeah, I understand. We had to go on overall record.
But I didn't want to be a douche.
I mean, you could have, and you would have been justified.
I wasn't going to pull mine out until he did.
You would have been justified to do so. So I know that's why Ryan got up to go after that break, and I did the same. So, all right.
I just want that clipped, what Ryan just said.
I wasn't going to whip mine out until he did. Yeah. It's a good one. All right, Wolverine Wolves, here we go.
I didn't even think of it.
3, 2, 1.
All right, I only got one Wolverine whiff, and it's pretty funny. For a school that deems themselves academically superior to everyone, the Harvard of the North, or the East, or the whatever they call themselves, boy, they can't even use the proper your. Lincoln Riley thinks you're quiet. YOU''RE, boys. And just absolutely embarrassing. They can't even spell up there in Ann Arbor. The Ann Arbor Astros, those cheating bastards. All right, we're gonna go 50 at 9:53, so we're 23 minutes late. Yeah, per usual. And we had a lot to talk about. We had a week off, but we have a lot of great shows on the College Football Dogs Media Network, like the Golden Boot. They are on every Monday and Friday, I believe at 8:30. Let me recheck that time. I need to get an updated schedule from these people, so I can start really promoting their shows more. Yep, 8:30 Monday and Friday. And, of course, the Big Ten Backers. They are on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. And I believe the College Football Dogs Villains podcast is still on at 8 on Thursdays. But, of course, you come here for the Buckeye Bro Show, which you can catch every Wednesday, unless we, have some stuff come up. But usually throughout the seasons, every week, every Wednesday, 7:30 to whenever we see fit in, which is almost 30 minutes late tonight. So that's just how it goes. This is how it goes in showbiz. But next week we will talk about the Sparty game. Then we will preview the Iowa game. We will figure out more of what we learned in college football after this next week of games. Alabama, Georgia play this weekend. We're going to learn a lot from that game, I think. So definitely some good.
What do you guys got?
I had Georgia before the season. I'll stick with them, even though because I saw them struggle against Kentucky, but I also saw Alabama struggle against USF. So, but I will say this: if Jalen Milroe doesn't throw them the ball and runs efficiently, I think whatever team runs the ball better is going to win this one.
I got Bama.
That's fair.
I want Georgia to win, so my hot take for next week can come true.
Fair. That's fair. So we will see who gets a nice, solid lead in the SEC up there with Texas, number 1 team in the country. And yeah, so we'll have a lot of that and probably some other stuff to talk about as well. Hopefully we have a Golden Gopher win over the team up north to talk about too. But, maybe on College Football 25. We can make that happen. But I've been King Buckeye Ox Brian here with Hot Wheels, Travis Snapper, and Ryan the sports guy, Ryan Hill. We will see you guys next week. Go Bucks, beat Sparty, and screw the blue as always. Go Gophers on the Buckeye Bro Show on the College Football Dogs Media Network.
This is the Buckeye Bro Show on the College Football Dogs Media Network.